Hello, you're welcome on Black with Fire Network. Good evening from Kampala, Uganda, East Africa, Maria. Um, well, I hope you all had a nice and good, warm weekend. Today is a Tuesday, of course. Yeah, yesterday I couldn't come live. Mm. I wish I had a good reason for that, but yeah, it's always the electricity and at times network problems. But I'm so grateful to be here today. Today's topic actually, hmm, today's topic is about our brothers and sisters in diaspora, more especially those who have had a very long lineage um, outside Africa, more especially for those who believe they're Africans and still don't know where actually they come from, and to those who also love Africa and believe that Africa is their mamaland. So yeah, I know there are lots of Africans really who do not believe that they are Africans. We heard a lot of black people outside Africa saying that we're not Africans, we are not. So we are black, but we are not Africans. We are original blacks. We're, born from here. Our sisters come from here, and blah blah. So that's another topic. But I want to believe you're true. Maybe your claim may be true, but it is also very important that Black people know that Africa is the origin of mankind. So no matter what you think, no matter what you think you are, no matter where you think you come from, no matter your originality, but in one way or the other, Africa is uh, land for all humans. And we believe that all humans originated from here because this is where we find the oldest humans on earth. So, yes, today's topic actually may sound a little bit crazy, more especially for those who still have uh, the pain in their hearts and the anger of what happened in history. Like I always say, history is very important. History is something that we can never do away without, and history defines the future. Most of us are who we are because of our past, and most people behave the way they do because of their history. Most people are where they are right now because of their past. So yes, history defines the future, and we have future because we have a past. So those two things move together. You cannot talk about the future without the history or the past. So yeah, uh, you know, this today's discussion actually is about my own feeling about certain things. So it is okay for someone to say she's crazy. Why is she talking about? It is okay for you, but this is how I feel, me as a person. So today's topic or words are not basically words of Black Fire Network, but me, Maria, as a person, because it's okay for you to deny or feel like it's not the right thing or something like that. But me, I'm someone who believes that everything happens for a reason. That's one. And everything happens for a reason. That's one. And there is, and majorly the main reasons as to why a lot of things happen is because there is a greater future for, whoever is experiencing that kind of life. So, in history, we saw and we remember, or we listened, or we heard, or we read, or we were told that some of our ancestors were, of course, taken into slavery. And we'll be talking about this whole slavery thing here on Black Warfare Network all the time. Um, because actually, slavery is also part of the Black history that can never be forgotten, no matter what. So we see a lot of our ancestors taken into slavery. uh, with by different means, and for different reasons, and they went through a lot. And at that time, I know, and still the story leaves a spear in the hearts of a lot of Black people, especially those who understand the circumstances that were um, involving the slave trade and the act of slavery outside and inside Africa. Now, I know, probably I should not say our ancestors being taken in as slaves outside of Africa is a great thing because, of course, they went through a lot. But I remember one time, I think that was the last week, the last time I was here on Lahore Final Word. I remember, was it Chibichaba or Lando Winter was like saying that, there is no freedom without bloodshed. You can never just have freedom without bloodshed. You cannot have freedom without going through a lot. A lot of people are going to lose their life. A lot of people are going to be displaced. A lot of bad things are going to happen. But in the end of it all, we are going to finally succeed, or people are going to have peace at the end. So there is that sacrifice that, of course, happens. So, um, and I really do agree with him 100%. I'm not like trying to say, I want y'all to quote me right. I'm not like trying to say it is okay, or it is okay for you to have been taken into slavery. I'm not like trying to say it is fine for your four grandfathers, mothers, whatever. It was so great for them to have been taken into slavery because, of course, whatever happened is not something that we are so proud of. But I feel there is a purpose as to why this happened. You know, um, at times I really do envy, and I want you to quote me right. Don't start saying that I want to be a Black American or something. No, because I don't want to go through that road of argument with a lot of people. I do really envy. This one I'm saying it with no shame whatsoever. I do really envy one greatest thing about the Black Americans, the Black Germans, the Afro Germans, and those other Africans who were born outside Africa, more especially those who don't know their roots down here, though they believe they come from down here. They cannot mention any of their family, not even their tribe. I do really envy you guys because you only identify yourselves as African people. Yeah, I know I've seen others are so proud. I know I'm from Ghana and forward for what, yeah, there is that little bit of extent of boundary still that is affecting some. But you identify yourselves as African. There is no this particular tribe that you identify yourselves with. Okay. So okay. Chibby is through. Hello, Maria. I hope you're fabulous today. Listening in while working on my equipment. Stay strong, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jibby Jabba. Stay strong too. I'm really fabulous. Yeah. I hope you're doing great too. Thank you so much, sister too. So yeah. And a lot. So as people experience this boundary of tribalism, the hate of you do not speak the same tribe like I do, you don't live in the same, demarcations like I do, or the landmarks, or you belong to a certain country, not mine. You are not somebody. So the way Africans do identify themselves actually is very upside. And that's why I say I really envy my brothers and sisters in diaspora, because you only identify yourself as a Black or as an African. So now I'm looking at, if you were not taken into slavery at that time, if your ancestors were not taken over there, you would also be as dumb and foolish as a lot of Africans who believe that they belong to a certain tribe and they only have to answer to a certain tribe. The tribalism, you would also be experiencing that here in Africa. But you do not. You only identify yourself as a black people. So that is a great thing, actually. And now, if you are talking about Africa united, honestly, I'm going to be so frank. If we always talk about Africa uniting as one, we black people being one in Africa, having the Africa, United States of Africa, whatever they'll call it, or whatever it is that people want to call it, we can never have peace in such a continent where there is a lot of tribalism, where there is a lot of, a feel of colonialism, demarcations, that feel I'm a Ugandan, you're not, you're Kenyan, I'm not, you're what? That feeling. Now imagine which leader is going to come and really divide these resources accordingly. Do you think there is any leader in Africa who has been here, who identifies themselves like I'm a Bantu speaking person, I'm a Ugandan? Do you believe there is someone who will come from Africa and will be capable of doing such? I don't see that, because we have already been eaten by tribalism. We have already been eaten by this oil, the borders that were created by the colonialists but still exist in our minds. We are still being influenced by religion 100%. I'm always so grateful to see that we got a lot of people outside Africa who have no experience whatsoever about Africa, but they love Africa so much, even more than the people who are living in Africa right now. We got some other people who really are ready to do anything for Africa and they want to be identified by that. Rather than the Africans down here who want to be identified by something else, actually. I hear a lot of them, I'm an Israelite, I'm a word. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, we got a lot of them here. So I personally, like I said before, what I'm talking about today is they're not views of Black Hole Fi Network or whatever. These are views of me, Maria, as a pastor. So, me, I believe that there is and there are great things that can be done by our brothers and sisters who are born outside Africa, the Africans in diaspora. There are great things you can do down here. And I do very much believe that you are the answer. I repeat, I do believe that you are the answer Africa is waiting for. You are the answer Africa is waiting for. Not everyone, of course. We got some people who are really ready to do everything. And we got those who still believe you cannot identify me as an African. What the hell? I cannot come from Africa. That bullshit. Please, this topic is not for you. If you feel you cannot be identified as an African, this is not for you. Okay, I believe probably maybe you may be having your own ancestors from wherever, So this topic is not for you. I repeat. Kerr Williams, thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. We are doing well. I am. I'll not answer for everybody, but yeah, Jibjaba said it's doing fine. So I guess I'll answer for me and Jibjaba. We are doing good. Katie told us, do not come back to Africa. She already chased people away. Okay. Sorry. Sorry about that. Question. Historically, does a kingdom consist of more than one tribe? And is tribalism used to break the cohesion of a kingdom? Jibjaba asked that historically, does a kingdom consist of more than one tribe, and is tribalism used to break the cohesion of a kingdom? A kingdom actually belongs, tribes, these are just things that were created. Tribes were created. That's why in tribes we have that's why we have languages. Okay, we got clans. We got clans of a clan of specific people who believe in the same tradition, same culture, they have same totem, same norms and everything. So there's some other, you know, segments that were created by the colonial masters. That's why when you look at the Bantu speaking people, they got a lot of languages under the Bantu. You'll hear a lot of people. Somebody will say, I'm from South Africa, but I'm a Bantu and I'm this. They're speaking this is my tribe, they'll be speaking that, and this is my language, you know. So some of these things were just created. But people were speaking the same. Like you'd say the Bantu were people who were falling under a certain kingdom. And because these people were living in different geographical areas, of course, there was a specific clan that was leading. Like I always say, this sounds so painful for people who do not really understand Africa's history. Somebody will say being a leader or being a leader shouldn't just follow, you know, because there are lots of people who would want the advantage to, okay, who would want the chance to be leaders, but they're not given. Every clan in Africa was arranged or was organized according to what they can do best. What they can do best. Um, you know, my language, the language I speak, and you will, if you see the name that was given, Oma clan, it is definitely, if you change the name into English, it means a leader. So no matter what it is, So no matter what it is, and by the way, I come to realize that I have a lot of people who come from the clan like where I come from, no matter how poor they are, they just live like rich people because they were just born like that. You see someone is poor, but their mind is rich. Everything about them is rich because that's why I say everyone in Africa, every clan was organized according to what they can do best. If we have people who are good at treating, you will find that clan because they can do that best. If you have people who are good at cultivation, you'll find that clan because they can do that base. And even if they get rich, even if they become leaders today, you will find them, they are still following that trend because they can do the other side base. So that is how Africa was organized. And yes, kingdoms did not have different tribes. Okay, kingdoms did not have different tribes. It was one kingdom with people speaking the same words and they could understand and listen to each other. Okay, thanks. I was lacking knowledge on this point. I'm understanding now. Yeah, thank you. K. Williams, I hope you're doing good. So that is it. That is the kingdom thing. So people were living in the kingdoms, speaking the same language, having the same culture, norms, beliefs, tradition. They were sharing everything in common. They had a lot of things in common. So you'd find people speaking the same language and everything, living under one kingdom. But because a lot of people were living on different geographical areas, you'd find no matter how far they are related in one way or the other. They were always related. Their beliefs, their understanding, they had a lot in common and they were related. So yes. Though that's why we have other leaders. We had some others who were called chiefs. So those were living under chiefdoms, and we had kingdoms. So kingdoms were big. Kingdoms were bigger than the chiefdoms. That's right. So back to the topic today. You know, guys with us tonight. Afternoon, Mr. Williams. All good, sir. Thanks for words like in the region at this point. Saying now there was, of course, Jib Jabba. Thank you, Jib Jabba, Kel Williams. Guys, thank you for coming through. And so, like I said, it's going to be so very hard for a lot of Africans or for any African to be an African leader if at all we decide not to follow the kingdom thing. And even if we do, we can never be united again. Even if we do, we still need somebody out there where we know we're going to have a saint, or we're going to have a center or the central part where all this economy meets, where every leader from different parts of Africa meets, of course, to talk or to plan for different things. Now, that would be the problem of everything, because we have tribalism that has eaten Africa to the deepest bone marrows of Africa. Tribalism is the problem. Now, like I was saying, Africa is waiting for your comeback. This is me, and these are my thoughts. Like I said, these are not thoughts of Black Profile Network or anybody. If somebody's gonna blame or is gonna feel like I'm talking, stupid stuff or bullshit, well, it is me saying this. So done. Okay, so I I will take Jeremy Mosquito. Thank you for coming. Hello, Maria. How is you? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for coming through. So I feel like a lot of Africans who are outside Africa do not have that tribalism thing. Okay. For you guys, you only identify yourselves as Africans. You identify yourselves as Africans in Africa. And you're always proud to say, I come from Africa, though you don't know which tribe exactly. Or you don't identify yourselves like, I speak this tribe, or I come from this tribe or this tribe. Okay. So this is why I feel you are the right people who could probably take Africa where it wants to go, if at all you're ready. Because I believe you will step down here, you'll have to be so impartial, because that's what a good leader does. Because for you do not belong to a particular tribe. Not like these other leaders. Of course, we are dreaming about Africa Unite, but it's going to be so hard with this tribalism. It's going to be so hard with tribalism. Keith, thank you for coming through. Exactly, Maria. Tribalism is a problem. We do not have that tribalism shared. So that's why Keith says, of course, they do not have that tribalism shared in the US. This is what I'm saying. So I'm looking at slavery. Probably it was here for at that time. It was so hard and painful. But let's use this to the advantage. I know I'm not like trying to say forget, because I can never tell you I feel the pain that you do. Yes, I may feel the pain, but you feel it better. So if I tell you I'm in your shoe and this is what you're going through, I'll be lying to you. You understand this and you know this pain. And I'm not saying it is okay for you, for your ancestors to be, to to have been taken to into slavery. But I'm saying it is a great deal now that you are not experiencing this kind of mental slavery that a lot of Africans are experiencing down on Mamaran. I'm saying that it is a blessing that all of you, most of you, do not feel that you identify yourself with a particular tribe. I feel that the Africa or Mamaland is waiting for your comeback. And me as Maria, I feel like your comeback is definitely gonna be great for those who wished. I don't know how it's gonna be done. I don't know how it's gonna start. I don't know how many brothers and sisters are planning to come back to Mamaland. I don't know the great things they've down here. I don't know. I've not had experience with a lot, but at least I've seen some. A lot of them marrying some African women, so that could be a great state, of course. So I'm seeing a lot of them wanting to come down to, involve themselves in a lot of things. Probably they have a greater plan. Let me fast read the comments. General Mosquito. It is the inside joke. I did not get robbed like that. It's an inside joke between me and Maria. She told me she did not receive that $10. I think. Are you guys still at that $10? I'm up here laughing. My help split coffee on me in that break room. Maria, you are looking very vibrant today with your yellow top. Thank you so much. I guess yellow looks good on dark skinned people. I guess. But thank you so much, Jerome Mosquito. And in America, we blacks have tribalism. It comes in the form of coins and bowling. Really? Really, Jimmy? You told me it was for Katie. You didn't mention Maria. Stop holding the back comment. Thanks, Kawi. I'm so tired. I did tired. I remember I said the second time. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Ken Williams, I don't need to forget this thing. God. Can you imagine we are live and you guys are talking about this money? When was that money? In March. March. Crazy, right? Oh God, remember. Anyway, you can keep, yeah, I'm gonna continue with my Jib Jibba says that in America you guys still have tribalism. You may have tribalism over there, but why it's not gonna affect you guys like you come down to Africa because we don't have that kind of tribe down here. So whatever, you're gonna leave that tribalism thing you're telling me about and come down here because there is not that particular tribe. So I'm looking at an African. I'm looking at an African who does not feel he belongs to a certain group of Africans down in Africa to be the best leader that Africa can ever have. Because this is what Africa really needs. I don't trust anybody because with the experience that a lot, with the experience we've had with the leaders in Africa today, everything is about tribalism, and that's why we're having a lot of leaders who gets, who stick their ass in power for a very, very long time because they are being supported by people who speak the same tribe with them. They don't want to leave or they don't want to lose someone who speaks the same tribe with them, you know, so they keep voting for these people, they keep pushing these people to stay, in power. Hey Maria, just stop in for a brief moment. What is the topic of the show? Lando Winter, thank you for thank you for coming through. The topic is like Africa is waiting for your comeback, more especially the brothers and sisters in diaspora. So Africa is waiting for your comeback. Like I said, these are my own views. So y'all don't be blaming Black Wolf and Never for anything that you do not really agree with. Because I know a lot of Africans do not really agree with us. Because a lot of them think other ways. And a lot of Black Americans also, or the Afro Germans, whatever, they do not also believe in this. Because some other people do not believe that they come from Africa. So um some Black Americans have the Mzungu's ice is colder mentality and will block others. True peace spread. Yeah, of course. I know the reason why I feel like it's so free for you guys is because not everybody will come. Of course, for someone to, with everything that has happened, the mainstream and everything that has happened in the eyes of different people and in the minds of those outside Africa, it takes strength, it takes love, it takes love, of course, for a Black American or the Afro German to step down, or a Jamaican, whatever, for you to decide that you're moving to Africa. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of that. So, of course, for those who don't want to come to Africa, will not. So I'm looking at people who really want to have, to be in Africa or to feel like they're Africans. For those people who are great about the fact that they're Africans. For those people who want to see Africa achieving. There is a difference between somebody saying that I want to come down to Africa to make money. Of course, if you want to do that, that means you're going to come down here and be a puppet. I know money is very important. So It is okay for you to come and make money because, of course, you need money to sustain your life, but it shouldn't be the biggest reason you're coming down to Africa, because you may end up being disappointed. So that should not be the biggest reason why someone would wish to come to Africa. Or I want to come to Africa. I want to come to Africa because you want to transform it. Come to Africa because you love it. And that's the only way you will be able to maneuver through the thorns that are down here. But if you come in with no love, but with your economics plan, you will be disappointed. And this is why we've had a lot of people complaining, because actually, um, I also know there are a lot of Africans in Africa who would have chances of moving outside Africa. But they say, I can never leave Africa because this is my home. They just love it. And I know they go through a lot, but they say, I'm not leaving. So I'm trying to say, if you decide that you're coming down to Africa for business, only business, one time you're going to be disappointed. And you will go away from Africa for good without even looking back. Because, of course, shit happens. Shit happens. But if you come for Africa for a greater purpose, that means you'll be able to hold on to whatever bullshit and still manage to succeed. Because I believe everything is not easy everywhere. There is no perfect place. Every place has their own ups and downs. There is no perfect place. The continent needs an okay. The continent needs organized group of African from every country on the continent with the a guerrilla army to start insurrecting throughout the continent. Yeah, that was a great comment from Lando. Lando believes the continent needs selected, let me call them Pan-Africans, people who are willing to die for Africa, people who have great dreams for the Africans, people who have the base. Now, yes, I know, but I can tell you they are the minorities. These people are the minorities unless we give it time. For now, we have few people who are willing to do that. The most people even don't want to hear, you don't come from my country. Who is she? What is she talking about? Because you don't come from where they come from. But we got still those people who are willing. They don't really care the borders. They don't care where you come from. They just love you simply because you're an African. They just love you simply because you just look like them, and they don't really care. They will not even ask you where do you come from. They will just look at the African in you. So yes, we got those few people. And now the problem will be if we are going to use democracy. If it is going to be democracy, tell me, Lando, what is going to happen if it's going to be democracy? If I thought we're going to vote for these people, and then we stand with our names, like I'm a highway, I'm a giver. My name means I'm a giver. So if I'm a giver, somebody will just look at me and she say, that person will identify me. The person will know I come from a certain tribe because my name identifies me. My name, you know. So do you know democracy can never work that way? People will always be biased about that. People will always be biased about that. That's why it's going to be so very hard for us Africans to be united as one. I remember the time of Gaddafi, when Gaddafi wanted to have Africa united. Already people were talking, who is going to give that Arab Jad? We're not going to vote for that Arab man. Look at his hair. He's not an African. And then other people were saying, oh, we're going to have another president. Who is giving those poor people? Who's going to? So a lot. People were already arguing about this. People were already arguing about this. But I thought, like Gaddafi had organized it, that not everyone was going to vote. Not everyone was going to vote. So I don't know which kind of leadership it was going to be. So specific people were the ones who are going to vote. So they would choose. Okay, from here we're going to have Maria and Jibjaba, Lando, Kel Williams. You know, it's you guys who are going to vote for. You're going to you're going to stand in for the rest of your people. this is how it was going to be, because actually if you like, you make the entire Africa to vote, it's going to be a maze. It's going to be a maze, because tribalism has eaten everybody down here. Yeah, most blacks that are against Pan-Africanism are boldly and low information indoctrinated folks. Yeah, I would see you know I sometimes I always, meet some groups, over a lot of Black Americans, and I realize that people have, different beliefs, and it's okay, and they really love these beliefs that they believe, and they really love, and they're very proud of what they created. I guess when you search, when you look for yourself a lot, you either find yourself or get lost completely. So like I see a lot of people like, I'm not the one who's supposed to tell you where you belong, okay? I'm not the one who's supposed to tell you, but facts are facts, and they can never be changed. Facts are facts, and that's a fact. So at times I look at people and I'm like, you know, they try to look for themselves, try to find out who they are, and in the end they get lost. So it is very important. Actually, at times I look at them and I feel so sorry. Some other people have their own stories, and they can really kill you if you're against that story. Some people have their own beliefs, and if you don't believe in that, then you are going against them. And I don't really blame them a lot. I guess maybe they are reading wrong books. Maybe they are being misled. These are all problems that are caused by Mzungus. These are all problems that were caused by displacement of people, of course. So, but I feel like before even you start, there is something that you can never argue with, and that is the similarities that is within the Black people. Yeah, for those who have never been down to Africa may not understand this, but you can look at someone, you can look at the Africans and know. Even if they just hold you and they tie a white clothes on your body, let me tell you something. If they get like a mzungu, they tie the mzungu, maybe they wrap you up with a gift paper, and also wrap an African the same. You can still look and say the person in this package is an African without even looking at their skin. Now, this is identification. We just look at this man or a woman and know the person who has been wrapped here is an African, and this person wrapped here is not. And that is identification. So, I mean, this should be just, anyway, people have a right to believe in whatever they believe. Um, okay, that organization must be developed and managed by Black Americans with ex-military training in African history knowledge to lead the continent. Exactly, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. You know, Africa is waiting for you to come back. The reason why Black Americans can manage this very well is because they don't have the tribalism thing. But of course, Jim Jim are telling me that those people believe in what. So we don't want those. Like I said, this topic is not for those Black people. I'm not gonna call you Black Africans if you don't believe you're an African. So those Black others who do not believe they're African. So this is not for you. So we are going with those who believe they are. And we are looking at them organizing themselves, come down to Africa to be better leaders, because they're only people who can be so impartial. These are people who can divide everything. These are people who will love the entire Africa without feeling that, well, I belong to this tribe, or I belong to the Gishu, or I belong to, I come from, whatever. Africa has very many tribes. So these are people who are not. But I will also be so very grateful if we have Africans who are willing to do that. because of course the African American cannot do this on their own. Cannot do this on their own. Africans who are willing to do this, those Africans who are willing to be so impartial. We might have an African who is ready to do things for their country. I'll give you, okay, for instance, we might have a leader like Kagame who is ready to do every step for Rwanda, but he doesn't give a shit about what happens in Congo. And actually, he can kill the Congo people for Rwanda to stand. We do not need that kind of leadership in Africa. We do not need. Kagame has developed Rwanda. Whatever he's doing to Rwanda, that's not something I always love to talk about. Because maybe one time I may go there and get arrested for nothing. So he's developing. Everybody's like, wow, Rwanda is the best city, is the best country in Africa, and blah blah. But do you know how many Africans have lost their lives for Rwanda to be the way it is? Do you know how many African people have been displaced for Rwanda to be where it is right now? So we do not actually need that kind of leader who only thinks about their demarcation, who only thinks about those landmarks that were created by colonial masters. We need a leader whose love extends beyond the borders. And that's the only way Africa is going to succeed. If we get leaders whose love cross the borders, if we get leaders who are not selfish, if we get leaders who are willing and ready to stand for other Africans outside their demarcations, outside the borders. We need leaders who are ready to identify themselves as Africans rather than their countries, rather than the borders they live in, rather than the tribes they speak, rather than their skin, rather than anything that is not Africa united. We need those leaders. We need leaders who are going to stand and say, well, this time around, we want such and such a thing in Kenya, and they are not biased about it whatsoever. We want this in Nigeria, and they are not biased about it whatsoever. We want this down in Southern Africa, and they are not biased about it whatsoever. And the only person who can give you that is somebody who does not believe in a tribe. And the only person who can give you that is somebody who does not identify themselves as I belong to this. And actually, I know it is okay, but I would not even say, people should go about looking, okay, well, I'm trying to check my DNA. Is it coming from Congo? How does even your DNA come from Congo? I don't know. I really don't know. So apparently Africans' DNA is different. There is DNA, Congo DNA, there is Nigeria DNA and all that. I just read that through the Black American stuff because y'all guys be looking for where you come from and you see that. But in truth, if at all the Nigerians have a different DNA, if at all, tell me about those DNA jibijaba. What is that? If at all the ones who come from Ghana have a different DNA, that means the demarcations are right. That means the borders are really right. If at all you live in, if people living in Ghana have a different DNA, like really. Tell me about that jibjaba because I personally do not even understand that thing. I do not. Because one thing I know, Africans have the same DNA. And there's one thing I know, Africans keep on revolving every time. Every generation, every century, we tend to, evolve. So tell me, because when the weather changes, we change. We change with the environment. I've always been saying this. We change with nature. And that's why they always say Africa persists. We as African, we persist in every climate, weather, in everything. We keep on persisting. So I want to believe, We keep on persisting. That's why they always say Africans will be the last people on earth, because no matter what will come, we shall really change with whatever we have received. We shall really change and fit in whatever nature has provided at that time, at that specific time. Yeah. Kip says that no, Maria, you have the same DNA. It's taking you to certain tribal marking. Hmm. Hmm. It has nothing to do with the borders. Yeah, because this is what I always read some posts, like some people come about, I went for my DNA, and you know what, guys? I found out that I come from Ghana. How does your DNA read like come from Ghana? Okay. It has nothing to do with borders, Maria. Keith is really up on the DNA types of our people. I'm learning more myself. Uh, about clicking black shade on him. A large with the Lando suggests that equipment. Okay, this is from Ginger, of course. Uh, Along with the Lando suggestion, if I read through, if I read through. Okay, let me see. Africa can. Okay, I read that already. Along with Lando's suggestion, the continent should emulate the teachings and action of Booker T. Washington, the book up from slavery. He answered the Negro question. All right. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. I've never read that book before, though. Uh, I read that bad living thing you said, Jim Jabba. Keith is really up on the DNA types of our people. I'm learning more myself. All right. Okay. No, Maria, you have the same DNA. It's taking you to a certain tribal marking. Maria, Lando knows a lot on this topic. Okay, I'll wait to hear what Lando has to say. It has nothing to do with the borders. Well, okay. So that means if we still identify our DNA with a given tribes, that means we still have that in us. If Jim Jabba is gonna identify himself like, I come from this tribe, I'm in America, I just check my DNA and it tells me that I come from this tribe in Ghana or Nigeria, whatever. So that means you identify yourself as um, that specific tribe. It has nothing to do. Okay, there isn't any real difference in the African DNA. There is a mutation because of the genetic engineering and miscegenation, and synthetic diet affected our DNA. I believe so. Like I said, we do change. Lando is saying that, I love that comment because I was saying the same. We do change. What happens to us? That's why people believe that Africans are going to survive. Okay, because Africans' DNA really revolves whenever the nature changes. It does change. Whatever we eat, it does change. So, and I'm always surprised to see that people say that our DNA are coming from where. Who even does that? Where do they even get those facts from? You are DNA reads that you come from your ancestors, your four, you have some for. Last time I was reading, a certain lady was saying, I'm so dark, very, very dark. I'm so surprised to see that I have, I'm Zungu's DNA in me. So I am an Irish somehow. And she was so proud of the fact that she was an Irish. So that means I come, I have Irish blood. I was like, what the fuck? What is her problem anyway? But she was so proud about it. I'm Irish. I have the Irish thing, my DNA. And somebody was saying, I'm the darkest in our hood. But do you know that I'm Irish? So, Robert Williams, thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. It has been long, my dear friend. It has been long, but thank you for coming through. You have the same DNA on the girl in Nigeria and in South Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania, and so forth. Maria. And that's what I believe. But until we see people claiming that they're different, no, that's the why the white people have set up Maria. It's not an exact science, Maria. I'll believe. Now, if you say that, I really believe. I believe you when you say that. Because Africans worship their slave masters, keep Newsom finding how none of their science is exact. Let me first see.
Yeah, hello, fam. I'm gonna wrap this up. I think somebody happened with Maria's power or internet. Something happened, so I'm gonna wrap this up so me and Joby can get ready to start the next show. So I'm gonna say, much love, fam. I say everybody probably back here in about another 10 more minutes. Joby setting everything up for the next show. Maria's power. Oh shit! Or internet. Something happened. So I had the TV on watching her. Shit. Got feedback issues. All right, fam. So I'm saying much love to everybody. Everybody have a good. See you in about another 10 minutes, fam. And so the Africa Today show. So I'm going to end this here. See you in about another 10, 15 minutes. What's going on? Robert ain't seen in a minute. What's going on, brother? Lando, Jibba Jabba, Mr. Williams, K. Williams. So I see everybody back here in about another 10 to 15 minutes. Peace, fam. You too, General Mosquito.